The arc that we're in now, Wano, it's heavily about Haki, having good Haki control, where we saw Luffy train with Ryo in Udon Prison. We also saw on the rooftop they talked about only a handful of the very strongest that they can use advanced conquerors and conquerors Haki observation, all of that. So I'm going to talk about it and how Haki is a good power system. But what would I rank it in terms of power systems of all anime? I'd probably give it top 5. That's about it, the end of top 5, if that, because Haki has one flaw: it is inconsistent. When you look at the different power systems, I'd say Nen from Hunter x Hunter is probably the best. It's a little bit confusing, but once you understand it, you know why it's the best. They have Nen, I think they have Nen, Ren, Ken, Zetsu, and one other one. I'm not going to go in depth about it because I've only seen Hunter x Hunter once, and this isn't a Hunter x Hunter YouTube channel. It's a One Piece YouTube channel. There's also Cursed Energy, where your emotions affect how much cursed energy you can imbue or output, and also you can imbue it in other objects. You can also have different types of cursed techniques. Then there's alchemy, I'd say is another good one. Equivalent exchange, right? If you want to make a sword, you cannot make it out of water, right? If you want to make, well, a steel sword, you can't make it out of water. You have to use something else. There's also flame alchemy, crimson alchemy, and different types of alchemy. And then I heard from JoJo's, I don't watch it, but I heard that Stance is a very good power system, so I'd probably put those 4 over Haki. And at Haki / Devil Fruits, well, I put them at number 5. I feel like the reason why it's a good power system, but it's not number 1, and it will never be the best, because Oda, he's doing a good job of explaining it more and more, but the reason why it'll never be number 1, or I'd even say top 3, is because of how inconsistent it can be. But what is Haki? Haki, I don't want to say it's a counter, but it helps in battle against Devil Fruit users. There are 3 types: observation, armament, and conquerors, where there's advanced versions of that. And anytime you want your Haki to get stronger, Haki blooms in battle. So the higher diff, or somebody with strong Haki or stronger Haki than you, is when your Haki will flourish the most. Observation Haki is kind of like spider sense. You can predict where or what's going to happen and be able to dodge different attacks. Obviously you need to have good reflex with it as well, but it assists you kind of like a sixth sense. And then the advanced version of that is future sight, where you can see into the future a few seconds, but you have to be very calm in order to do so. It's not completely broken, because if somebody has natural speed, then they can keep up with you or move faster even when you're seeing into the future. Then there's Armament Haki. Armament Haki, it does not cancel out a Devil Fruit's effect. However, it does allow you to hit Logias like they're solid people, and it also is able to harden a part of your body in order to make your body hard, and it hits harder and it defends better. And then you can imbue that into different objects. For example, Zoro, he does that into his swords. And the advanced version of that, or what the people of Wano call it, Ryo, it has a couple applications. You have internal destruction, where you can damage people from the inside without touching them. And then there's also we saw what Rayleigh and what Luffy did in Udon Prison. You can use that to take off cuffs or objects around people if you coach yourself in advanced armament or Ryo. And then the only downfall about that is, well, you need to have training and you need to let the Haki flow into you. And then lastly, we have Conqueror's Haki. Conqueror's is a little bit different because everybody has Haki in them except for Conqueror's. Only if you have the qualities of a king, that is when you have Conqueror's Haki within you. And so there are only, I believe, 17 confirmed users, right? Most of them are in the New World, because that is where the people with the most kingly ambitions are, because, well, they're usually the strongest people in a series. And with that, how Conqueror's Haki works is you can dominate or impose your will on others, and those with weak will, they get knocked unconscious. Where you can also coach your attacks in Conqueror's Haki. That is the advanced version, which is how Luffy and Kaido, they split the sky. Zoro versus King. Shanks is able to do it, and a few others. Only a few of the strongest. We've only seen it a few times, but it allows for people to attack without touching each other. Well, at least if you're both two users, like two users of Conqueror's Haki clashes, it's kind of like Think about Gojo's Infinity Void, kinda like that's the best thing I could say, where you cannot touch him, right? We've seen multiple times where different clashes have stopped, right? Like there's some form of barrier or the force, it cannot go or will not go into each other. And there's also something that with devil fruits, like I said, Haki does not completely negate or nullify devil fruits, right? It only allows them to go through and penetrate or make Logia solid in order for them to get hits. But whenever they're not attacking them, they can still heal and they can still reshape their body. We've seen it multiple times. And the big thing that I have an issue with is that sometimes when Haki should work, it doesn't. And sometimes when it shouldn't work, it does, if that makes sense. For example, right, we have a lot of people with broken devil fruits. Law, there's whenever he was trying to move Big Mom and Kaido, he couldn't because their Haki was too strong. But they weren't showing him using armament, but just their Haki in general is too strong, which doesn't make sense, because if that's the case, I know Haki is supposed to balance devil fruits because there are a lot of broken ones. But then if Law, he couldn't move them down, but then he used this awakening to create a room inside of, or I guess a room inside of Big Mom's body. Like sometimes, like how, if he couldn't move her then how can he use his ability inside of her if she has Haki? And then at the same time, they're like with advanced conquerors, I've seen a lot of people say, oh well, now if you don't have advanced conqueror, you can't compete. But then that's when awakenings come into play, and it kind of gets a little bit messy and real technical with certain situations, because you would think that with Sugar having one of the most broken devil fruits, right, if she touches you, you turn into a toy. So you would think if you coach yourself with armament Haki, that if she touches you where you have armament Haki, it won't work, like you won't turn into a toy. But that's not the case. And then Boa Hancock, how her devil fruit works is if you have any sexual lust towards her, you turn into stone. So, and you can't block your brain or your lust towards her with armament Haki or any form of Haki, so you're going to turn into stone anyway. And then there's future sight, right? We've seen Luffy use it, but sometimes we don't know when he's using it and when he's not. And I guess the reason why Oda does this is because he doesn't want to spam Luffy using future sight, because seeing into the future a couple of seconds, that is pretty broken. So there's that. But at the same time, if Luffy has mastery over it, he should be able to use. I know that you have to be calm and collective in order to use it, but if he does have mastery over it, he should be able to use it no problem, right? But I'm not going to say Haki wasn't needed, because we saw Smoker, Kizaru, and a lot of other strong opponents that we would never be able to compete with if Haki wasn't a thing, because it wouldn't make any sense to give them broken devil fruits without a way in order to counteract it. I just think that we don't do a good job necessarily of showcasing when Haki is used, when it's not, and what counters what with Haki. Because I just listed a few of the broken devil fruits. There's probably a few more. I guess a good example of this could be Doflamingo, his bird cage, because we saw countless people use Haki, specifically Zoro. He coded his attacks in, well, he coded his blades in Haki, and he wasn't able to cut through the bird cage. And there was people like Fujitora who could use it, who's stronger than Dofi. And I'd say Zoro, I don't want to say he was stronger than well, you could make the argument that Zoro was equal, maybe, or even stronger than Dofi there. And so I don't understand if Haki, how he couldn't cut through the strings with Haki. But like I said, Haki, it is a good power system and it goes well with devil fruits. I just think, and I wish that it was a little bit more consistent, that we would know whenever Haki's being used, and we would know what Haki goes with what can it counteract a little bit better. Because I think some people have the misunderstanding. I saw a YouTuber, he got in a debate with some of his friends, and some people were saying that it completely nullifies, and some people were saying it wasn't, and it's just a hot mess. And like I said, if it was more consistent, it'd probably be the best in the series. But let me know your guys' thoughts about Haki. How do you guys feel about it, and do you think it goes well with devil fruits? And how do you guys feel in terms of a power system overall? What would you guys rank it? Would you rank it the best, the worst, top 5? What would you rank over it? But then guys, so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. They're on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.